Do, 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 do. Well, it looks like Lisa is already in the chat room saying, see, a more apropos time. Lisa, you just need to get up earlier. Look, the early bird catches the worm. And if you're going to sleep until 7 a.m. every day, I mean, you're going to end up like Matthew, forced stuck as a junior engineer. But hey, what do you expect? Today is Saturday, July 4th, the 250th birthday of the United States of America, my home, my country. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm proud to be an American, but I'm happy to be an American. The reason I don't say that I'm proud to be an American is because I think it's a little silly to say you are proud of things you didn't accomplish, right? Like I'm proud that like I make a good living. I'm proud that I own multiple homes. I'm proud that I've been able to travel the world. Those are things that I did personally that I'm proud to be able to do. I was born an American. So I didn't necessarily do anything to become an American. I just happened by luck to become an American. So in that sense, I wouldn't say I'm proud to be an American, but I am happy to be an American. I am happy because one thing, like honestly, one thing that like traveling the world has taught me and having friends like Henna and like Stefan and of course family in Bolivia, one of the things that like really kind of being exposed to international cultures has taught me is that the one thing that America really has strong over other countries is that it has a strong there's lots of opportunity. Now, I don't want to necessarily say there's a strong economy because at times the economy fluctuates. Sometimes it's stronger than others. Sometimes it's very weak. But when you look at a lot of countries, like here in Botswana, for example, Botswana, I'm trying to be very good about how I pronounce it. Here in Botswana, when you look at countries like here in Botswana, you have a you have you have a you have an unemployment rate that is up to like 41%. And the neighbor to the south in South Africa, the unemployment rate is like some people say it's up to 55, 60%. And Finland, I know it's not quite as dire, but the thing about like places like Finland, from what I understand, from what I've told, is like the kind of money that I make in America, I would never be able to make in Finland. Like, I mean, unless you're like unless you are an exception to the exception to the exception kind of thing. Whereas the money I make in the United States is like I still feel like I make an exceptionally good amount of money, but I'm not like the exception to the exception to the exception like I would be in Finland. So there's a lot of like opportunity. Now, of course, there is trade with that. Like there's goods and bads, right? Like the thing about Finland is like, you know, you might not ever make that kind of money, but you're not going to be homeless if you lose your job. You're not going to go broke because you get sick, which is quite possible in the United States. So you take the good with the bad. And I mean, as long as you don't get sick, you'll be okay, right? Right. So anyway, but happy birthday to America. Again, happy to be an American. Very happy that I was born in America. Very happy that I am in fact an American citizen. And you know, I was thinking about this the other day about like when people say that they're proud to be an American, proud to be a Finn, proud to be British, you know, whatever. And I was thinking, I was like, you know, like would I say that I'm proud to be Bolivian? Because that is something I had to seek out. Like I had to do the paperwork and go to the embassy and do this and do that and get this and get that. So would I say I'm proud to be Bolivian? Probably not, but for similar reasons, right? Like the only reason I was able to do all that paperwork is because my father happened to be from Bolivia. And so I was born into Bolivian lineage. I was born into a system that would allow me to get Bolivian citizenship. So I don't know, but again, it's like, you know, am I proud to be white? Am I proud to be male? No, not because I think being either of those things is bad. It's just that those are things you're born into, and I think that pride should be reserved for accomplishments, for things that you actively do. So but as I have said, I am happy to be an American. I am happy that I had the luck of the draw to be born in the United States of America. And Henna and Lisa are both praising America. Happy birthday to the USA, Henna says, even though she is one of those users of the C you know what I'm talking about? Like when you look at like 12C for communist degrees, but that's fine. That's fine. She's tasted freedom, so she knows what freedom tastes like. And oh, and then Gel 415 says, "I need a drink." Who is this Gel 415, and how in the world does he have a membership? I guess maybe one of the gifted memberships. So welcome, Gel 415. It is, what time is it? It is on the East Coast of the United States. It's 8 a.m. So I think it's, but it's July 4th, man. It's July 4th, and it's a Saturday on July 4th. It's not one of those shitty July 4ths that occur on like a Tuesday and you have to be at work on the next day on a Wednesday. No, this is a good July 4th because it's the 250th birthday of the United States of America. And tomorrow is a Sunday. So you can get absolutely wasted all day today, just hammered from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed. And then you got all day Sunday to recover before you go back to work. Lisa says she also needs a drink. And Lisa, of course, was having some technical difficulties with her car because apparently cars and deers are not compatible. So Lisa says, yeah, I'm being forced to walk in a parade for work while it's too fucking hot. You know what? Let me show you this. Let me show you this. Well, actually, let me show you the screenshot I took this morning. I took this on purpose this morning for the stream because I wanted to show it on the stream. Let me bring this up. Let me actually forward this. Let me forward the image to myself, and then I will show it on the stream because everybody who is at home suffering. This is why for the past, I think this is my 5th year in a row of not being home on 4th of July. And what I mean is not necessarily in my house, but not being in the United States of America. Let me go ahead and show you what I'm going to show you. Let me also know how the stream is. I am actually on a wired connection. So let me know. I'm looking at it. It does look a little jumpy. It looks like maybe I'm getting like, I don't know, 10 FPS or something, but let me know how it is. All right, so let me see. This is what I want to, this is what, when I woke up this morning, this is what I saw. Look at that. And now this is in this, mind you, keep in mind that this is in communist units, right? This is not in freedom units like we should, but this is in communist units. -1, it was 28 degrees Fahrenheit when I woke up this morning. I was actually a little concerned that the pool might freeze over, which it didn't. It didn't, because it does warm up quite a bit during the day. But at night, because we're right next to the Kalahari Desert, so it's very dry, very arid here. So the temperature plummets at night. And oh God, I'm loving it, loving it. I am not feeling. Let me go ahead and unshare the screen. Really, not feeling sad for people. I'm not feeling sad that I'm not home. But again, like I said, because this is, let's see, I was in Argentina, and then I was in 1 year for the 4th of July, I was in Argentina. Then I was in Chile. Then, you know what? First I think it was Bolivia, then Argentina, then Chile, then Africa, and now Africa. So this is my 6th year in a row of not being home for the 4th of July. And you know what? I have no regrets on that. What did I wanted to do? I stopped sharing because I wanted to load up my Good Boy browser. Not Sure is in the room. He says hello. Not everybody saying hello to Not Sure. With my AC window unit on in my room, it was still 90 degrees in my room this week. Jesus, Lisa, you need to find a rich man, or not even a rich man. You need to find at least like you need to find a man that has central air. That's what you need to do. Gel 415 says it sounds like a pattern. I don't know what the pattern is. What pattern is this person talking? Oh wait, I think I know who Gel 415 is. I think it just dawned on me. I think I know. I think I realize who it is. But yeah, I am so, like, again, just very happy that I am not suffering on the East Coast of the United States. I was talking to my mother last night, and she was saying how it was worse in the Washington D.C. area than it was in like the Carolinas, which is even further south. So, yep, not happy. Okay, so this might hurt performance. So I'm going to load up Unity. So let me know how the performance comes. If the performance starts to suffer, I'm going to disconnect my second monitor that I have one over here. I wonder. They have the computer stores here. I've noticed that one of the things they do is they sell these little monitors that are actually about the size of an iPad, and they're only about $100. Now I got to be careful because I like the Motswana woman that I'm here for or with, like I'll say things like, "Oh, it's only $80. It's only $100." I got to be careful about that mentality because $80 in a country like this is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but they're only like $80. It's incredible. It's incredible. They're only like $80. Anyway, I am happy to be in the USA. I too am happy to be in the USA. Well, wait, I'm happy to be an American. I'm not in the USA. Okay, so let me know how the performance is. This is what we were doing. This is what we have been working on so far. We've been working on the loading and saving the state of the game. I have my American Coca-Cola here. Mm. And now the game is running. The game is running. And yeah, so we can select one and then we can press play. Now, pressing play, now selecting a JSON file, it does nothing, right? It doesn't do anything. What we need to do is we need to start working on the serialization of these objects and figure out how that's going to work in general. All right. So what we're going to do in that case, it is a beautiful day here. Like, let's check out the weather. I want to check out the weather because it is so nice today. And then we're gonna after this stream, I'm gonna walk to the grocery store and get some groceries. Look at this. Look at this. Yesterday, this said 100. It said the feels like for Sterling, Virginia, was 114 degrees. Feels like 114. That is just disgusting. Look at this. The dew point is 70 degrees. Now, like I love to refer to the dew point comfort index, dew point comfort chart, and 70 is just gross. Look, 70 is when it starts to feel very humid and uncomfortable, and anything above 75 is oppressive. And so, why JSON over YAML? Well, I haven't decided yet, but I was probably just going to go with JSON. And the reason I was going to go with JSON is because there's just more support for it. There's just more libraries. There's just more libraries, right? I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm sure there are plenty of libraries for YAML, but I think also with saving data files, one of the things that does concern me about YAML is, how can I put this? Like YAML, I think there might be challenges with YAML, like if you want to store YAML inside a YAML, or just certain data formats may not serialize as well as you think. Because YAML is I think you could think of YAML as kind of a relaxed JSON. YAML and human readable JSON are actually very similar. If you've ever looked at human readable JSON, they're actually very similar. I think that with something like serializing objects and things, I think it's probably best to stick to a more strict format, just because you're not going to run into weird serialization problems where you have to store weird data, where you have to store data that's not going to like I guess the best example is probably like JSON and JSON or YAML and YAML. So kind of things like that. What's the XP deal? What the hell are you talking about? What do you mean the XP deal? The XP deal, like in terms of the game or in saving? I don't know. We do need a concept of XP in the game, don't we? Let me see. I'm going to check Instagram. Anything else going on? So nobody's complained about the stream. I went and I bought a 10 meter. I bought a 10 meter Ethernet cable. So I have the Ethernet cable running. This door behind me goes to the kitchen, and so it's running into the kitchen and then into the living room, and it's plugged into the Starlink, router. And you can see here that like mind you, when I ran a speed test with the wireless connection, it was like it was atrocious. I think my download was like 15. Excuse me, it was like 15 Mbps. Oh gosh, but you can see on a wired connection, it's actually a lot better. Like these are similar speeds to what I get at home pretty much. So it's actually pretty good. All right, so let's see what we're gonna do. What are we gonna do? My company made a World Cup bracket for the office using JSON. I mean, Okay. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think JSON's a fine format for storing data. There is this other format, I think it's called like Steve's markup language, which I've always wanted to use. No, it's not. Maybe it's not Steve's. Is it? What is it called? Steve. It's like Steve's minimal markup language, like like Mark's minimal markup language. I forget who it is. I forget what the name is. I always wanted to. Let me see. Markdown? No. I'm just gonna have to ask IA. What there? Is it Tom's minimal markup language? Because now minimal markup language. Let's take a look at this. Is it, yes, here, Tom's obvious minimal language. I've always wanted to use this. Maybe we could use Tom's minimal markup language. Let's see. I'm pretty sure there's a library for C#. Let's see. Find the library. C# right here. There's two of them actually. There's three of them actually. I don't know which one's the best. Let's see. Okay, this one was updated last week. All right. This one was updated 2 weeks ago. So they're both. And then this one was updated 2 days ago. But that was just to fix the CI. 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Let's see which one. Okay, this has 576 stars. This has 3 stars. This has 50 stars. So this one seems to be the most popular one here. Let's look at some examples here. You can serialize, deserialize a person, Tom. No, I don't know. I think we're just going to stick to JSON. I mean, give me a good reason not to use JSON. Like, I'll put it that way. Give me a good reason not to use JSON. I don't see any reason not to use JSON. They update standing for everyone's picks daily. Are we just going to dump all assigned variables to a file? Is that the plan? No, that's not the plan. It's not the plan at all. It's not the plan at all. So the plan is, what we're going to do is we're going to have an iSavable base class, right? And let's see. So we can go to the game state and then create. It's actually not going to be a monoscript behavior, but we're going to call it iSavable. I was hoping that was the plan. I mean, no. So the way that the best way, like I've written a lot of like serialization code in my time, and the best way to do it is you have a common interface from which these the things you need saved, they will inherit this interface, and then the things you want to save, they are going to be responsible for what they write themselves. They're going to be responsible for their own saving and their own loading, which I think is the best way to do it. Now, there's a couple of other unknowns, like how. Now, that's going to work fine for things that we have to register, because we're going to have this concept. You see this game state manager. I don't know if it's going to be game state manager or something else, but we're going to have some type of concept. Or do we? We may not. If we can iterate the hierarchy, looking for every savable object, and what I mean by that is every object that implements this iSavable interface, if we can iterate the hierarchy, looking for every object that has an iSavable interface implementation, then we might not have to register. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that. What do you miss about being here? Where you live? Nothing. No. What do I miss about the United States? I guess maybe some of the food, right? Like a lot of the food. So I miss the junk foodiness of the food. You know, there's a lot of junk food in the United States, and even though, and I know that like, oh, you shouldn't be eating that, it's bad for you, man. Whatever. I grew up in the U.S. I grew up eating junk food. A lot of junk food it's like comfort food, right? Like everybody loves food from their home. Everybody loves food from where they grew up. So I think I miss the food. I mean, I've only been gone 2 weeks though, so you make it sound like I've been gone like six years. I miss the food. I miss the Diet Mountain Dew. Maybe that's about it. That's about it. You do feel a little. I do feel a little isolated here, I think. I mean, I've got my lady friend, of course. I mean, that's why I'm here. But there's there's a couple of things like being white. being white in a country that is like 98% black. So you do have to think about that. You do have to consider that. Um, and then there's also the language difference. So there's that can feel a little isolating. Actually, I had a talk with her not that long ago because it it felt isolating, just like hearing conversation after conversation after conversation in Setswana. And I was just kind of like, okay, like, am I just, I don't know, so I was just like, hey, like, I'm not saying you have to give me a report. Like, I'm not asking that. Like, I'm not asking for like a report of your phone calls. Like, oh, so and so called and they said this and they said that. And I'm not trying to be nosy or anything, but maybe sometimes, like, if you're having a conversation with me, like with somebody that's entirely in Setswana, and I'm sitting next to you, and then the phone call ends, maybe just some type of like, oh, my sister's annoying me, or oh yeah, my mother called, or just something. It's like some context would just help, because I guess for a few days there, it just kind of it felt isolating. It felt like isolated, like I kind of like I was on one side of a doorway and I couldn't get, like, I saw the other side, but I couldn't come through. I don't know. It's a little isolating. Are you going to learn the language? I've been learning the language. I've been learning the language. There is actually wait a minute. Let's see. French Alliance School Habarone. So there's this French Alliance school that has Setswana classes. And I think the next ones, okay, come on, this is gonna change. I think the next ones start in July or August. Let me see. Let's see. Setswana classes for adults, twice a week, private class available on request. Um, mm, nah, this doesn't. Okay, okay, courses. But I remember looking at this a while back, and like the classes, they. Okay, here we go. Okay, so June 3rd, which I missed. So the next one is August 10th. So I'll probably sign up for that. I'll probably sign up for that. And Lisa, you'll be happy because I have to go back to South Korea. So I'll be going to South Korea, and then maybe hopefully to India. And at some point later this year, I think I have to go to, let me look. I have a list. Let me see, VS code. I pasted the list. I have to go. Oh no, wait, that's not it. No, wait, in that case, I don't know where the list is, but I got to go to like Oman, Bahrain, Qatar, Dubai, and then Saudi Arabia. That's so. Anyway, so that should be fun. I'm curious what this language sounds like. It sounds so like, like in English we'll say yes a lot, or yeah, like when you're talking to somebody, it's just like yeah. So but they don't say yeah, they're like eh. And then let's see, like hakeboa, no, hakeboa la buena, I'm not talking to you. Or I don't know, Kebat la hoja, I want to eat. Kelapile, I'm hungry. So it's Setswana. It's the predominant language here. There are other languages here, but the interesting thing about about Setswana is that she swears up and down that like there's no click in Setswana. Now there's not a hard click like in Kosa, and like that's how it's pronounced. Like if you look up the language Xohsa, Kosa, and or maybe it's Xhosa. I'm in the wrong browser. Okay, let me see. Xhosa. Kosa. This is one of the Kosa has a very hard click. It has and it's one of the famous click languages. Like you pronounce it with a Kosa. And so it's a very hard click, and it's a Bantu language. Setswana is also a Bantu language because the Bantu people are kind of like we're the predominant people of Southern Africa, not South Africa, Southern Africa. And so Setswana is also a Bantu language. And she'll be talking, and like when she says her name, it's not the hard click that Kosa has, but it is a click, and I can't do the click she does. And she's like, it's so easy, and I'm like, I can't do it. And when I try, she's like, no, you're doing it wrong. And I'm so just give up. What are you gonna do? Is this language the Fons? I don't know what you're talking about. Lisa wants me to take her with me to South Korea. I mean, hey, you can come. Yeah. I I'm really hoping for a better experience this time in South Korea because the last time I didn't like it. I really did not like it. It was not an enjoyable trip. So I'm hoping this time it'll be a little bit better. I'm hoping. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this interface here. Actually, I think we can just call it an interface, can't we? Public interface iSaveable. Yeah. And we basically just want, how do we want to do this? We want, on the surface, we know we want a save, but I'm not, and we know we want a load, right? But we, uh, uh, where do you go in South Korea? Well, I'll probably just be in Seoul, but then there's that island that so I think what I'm going to do, depending on when I have to go to South Korea, I think I'm going to go to South Korea and then spend a week there for work and then take a week off work while I'm there and before coming back to Botswana. But let me see, let me look. This island down here, Jeju. That's it, Jeju Island. I kind of want to see Jeju Island. Everything I read about Jeju Island, it says it's really pretty and it's nice. The thing I did not like about South Korea is like you couldn't. There was no breathing room. Like like so. I granted I didn't see a lot. I mainly saw Seoul and Incheon, right? And I commuted between Seoul and Incheon a few times, and that's about like this distance from here to here is about a 45-minute drive, which okay, 34 miles, so that makes sense. It's all because this is out where the airport was. Actually, I didn't even stay in Incheon. I stayed over here at the airport. I was like right here. And but there's no freaking breathing room. There's just like everywhere you go, it was so goddamn crowded, and it was just like bunched up and just like. Ah. So what I would like to do is this time when I go, I'll spend probably a week there for work, and then I would like to see the DMZ. I would like to see Jeju Island, but I don't know. We'll see. I will see. But it also depends on, like, because of my new role at work, they want me to go to India, but I have to figure out when to go to India. And I kind of wanted to go to India on the way back from South Korea, but I don't know. We'll have to figure all that out. Busan, I hear, is very nice. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not as crowded. I mean, if you look at a map, where did it go? It's up here somewhere. Yeah. If you look at a map, I mean, there are places where it doesn't look quite as crowded, but I don't know. I like it very much. And like, here's an interesting thing that I found that was really interesting about South Korea was like I've traveled over Africa, but I've traveled a fair amount of Africa. And and I guess that's not even fair. I've been to like I think 6 countries in Africa of the I think 70 that there are, or 40 or 50. I don't know. There's a lot of countries, but the point is, I've seen a bit of Africa, and I've seen South Korea. I felt more isolated in South Korea than I ever have in any part of Africa. I felt, and I don't want to say welcomed, like welcome isn't the right word to use, but I guess I could use it. Like I've always felt more welcomed here in Africa than I did in South Korea. I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe some of it, and I think a lot of it has to do with the alphabet. Honestly, like I think a good portion of it has to do with the alphabet. But then Korean people they're very like white people or non-Korean people, non-Asian people in Korea are very much seen as like like icky. Lisa says, I have to go now, Addie. Time to get ready for the parade. Much love. Oh, you suck, Lisa. You know, I did this stream at this time specifically for you, and now you're leaving me with Gel 415 and Henna, who I don't even think's here anymore. Now it's just Gel 415. Thanks, I appreciate that. But but no, like I did not. It like if I had to live in South Korea or live here in Botswana, like I just feel like I would have an or will have an easier time assimilating here in Botswana than I would if I had to move to, if I was moving to South Korea. I don't know. I don't know. I South Korea was very, it was very Justin says, "What's up with the kids in the background? Pool nearby? No, there's just kids. I mean, we're in a neighborhood, and there's a bunch of kids. They play in the street. Yeah, I'm surprised you can hear them, but yeah, no, there's just kids." Lisa says, "Yeah, well, you'll survive, but duty calls. Happy to hear your voice. Yeah, well, you need to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, Lisa, when I'm streaming during the week. No excuses. Ugh. But yeah, and you can see there is a pool. Let me see. There is a pool here, right? And I don't know if you can see it above that bush, right there. So we do have a private pool, but I kind of want to move. There are these buildings, and like it's a nice house. It's a nice pool. I will use the pool once it gets warm. But one of the things that could be improved, I'll put it that way. I'm trying to be very diplomatic in the way I speak. But one of the things that could be improved about the living situation here is, I think, the location. Not that this location is bad, it's just that there's not a lot around here. There's a grocery store in walking distance, a pharmacy, and a liquor store, right? Like the necessities. Those things are within walking distance. Um, but there is this place that's called, let me see, CBD Habarone. And and it's right here, like near the Hilton. Like this little area has these buildings called I towers, and I really want to. I really want to move into I really want to move into I towers, which is this section, which is room 52 is in I towers. There's like two buildings here, this one and this one, right? So I would like to move into one of those buildings just because those are also the only like those are the only tall buildings in Habarone. Everything else is very flat. And I like a good view when I'm working. Okay, so this is from 2012, before iTowers was even built. Holy cow, these are some old images. Wait a minute. Let me see. What about satellite images? Okay, yeah, so you can at least see it on satellite images. Um, but so I'd like to move here I'd like to move here because there's this awesome grocery store, the best grocery store that I have found here in Harvard's Market. And then there's also, it's near the US Embassy. It's near this place called Main Mall, which is like this pedestrian walkway area, which is really nice. So I don't know. I'm hoping that you can find nice apartments in I towers for decent prices. So we'll see. But then there's also the possibility of going to Cape Town. So, I mean, anything can happen. Um, how's I'm not sure says it's not that bad. There are a handful of dogs. I mean, and you do see dogs on the street. I don't know that I would necessarily call them wild dogs. So the thing I have found about wild dogs, and I have noticed this in Africa, and I've noticed this in South America, is they're never really wild. Like they are domesticated, because and like just because like the attitude towards dogs is very different, and it's not so much that like the dogs just are procreating unabashedly, or like uncontrolled. They're I mean, obviously, I guess that does happen, like dogs are going to bang, but generally what it is like a family will adopt a dog, but the dog lives outside, and and so it doesn't necessarily live in the street. At home, they'll open up the gate, the dog will come in, and it'll sleep in its house, eat its breakfast or eat its dinner, and go to bed, that kind of thing. But during the day, they'll just let it out and let it roam. um and so there are dogs in the neighborhood, but like, and you'll hear them barking at night when they're like being brought in. And I found that pretty much like that's kind of how things operate in like places like Argentina, Bolivia, here in Botswana. So I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily call them wild dogs or horses. If there were wild horses here, I would not even set foot on the continent. No, like horses, no, no, no. You don't fuck with horses. And like I'm not sure. Can you ban henna? Okay, there it goes. Okay, okay. All right. All right. Okay. That's nice to know. Okay. So The thing here is you need like a target. How is this going to work? Because iSaveable, it's really what's going to happen is you're going to serialize the object to a JSON structure, and then the JSON structure will be written to disk. Speaking of God, how can you guys hear the dogs? Okay, well, wow. All right, I guess you can hear it all well. Man. It's not so long time when you were worried about horses well-being. Oh, that's are you talking about that young stallion? Well, I wanted to, look, that's not so much like that's like a male experience, right? So Henna sends me this this photo of this horse trying to, let me see if I can find the photo. Henna, is it okay if I show the photo? Let me find it, and then I will wait for you to give me confirmation that I can show it before I actually show it. But she sends me this picture. Yeah, here it is. Let me know if it's okay to show it. She sends me this picture of a horse. Okay, she says yes. All right. so the every male in this chat room is trying to make love to his girlfriend because they are in a lovingly a relationship, and he's having a little bit of trouble finding where to go or where to put it. We've all been there, like it's not always. Anyway, so apparently he needed some help, and so I was asking am I breaking up, or was it just me talking like the way I was talking? So I was asking Henna, like, is this guy here, is he trying to help the horse or stop the horse? And apparently he was helping the horse, but sometimes you need help, like it happens. Now, sex is like anything else. The more you do it, the more experienced you become, the better you get at it. It's like any other skill, like any other habit or thing you do. So I'm sure that this young guy, this young stallion here, with time, I'm sure he would be able to find it, no problem. So momentary stream blip for half a second. Okay, well, that's good. Not sure. Idea. Can we just create a pointer to each variable in the game? No, we can't. Then we can just use the pointer. No, that's a terrible idea. That's a horrible idea. First of all, you don't necessarily need to save every single variable on an object. Oftentimes, you don't want to, right? So no, you're not going to just what you're talking about. You might as well just okay, well, let's just get a segment of memory and just dump it to disk and just bring it back up. No, that's not how serialization works. It's often overkill. It's often not very performant. So no, you don't want to just dump everything to disk and then just reload everything to disk. Because it's just not a good way to do it. I'm trying to think of a good example, but I can't think of a good example. Are we talking about horses mating or game development? You know what? A little bit of both. So I'm going to go inside and grab something really quick because I'm a little famished. I'll be right back. Okay. All right. All right. Somebody's in there recording a TikTok video. All right. This is my snack. Okay. So So how do we want to do this? I think we can just assume that we're going to just. I think we can just assume we're just going to use JSON, and use JSON objects to store and save the data, and then. So let's say. So I don't even know how to use JSON in C# though. Let me see. C# JSON examples. System text JSON, that's nice. JSON serializer. Okay, JSON serializer. It's serializing the product to a JSON string. I'm not sure about that though. Okay, so this is doing okay, so this is probably using some type of reflection. So how would I tell it? Okay, so this is doing a very, I mean, this is doing Not Shore's wet dream, right? Of just dumping all the variables to disk, which is just, I mean, like in this example, it makes sense, right? But on large scale objects, you don't want to do that. It's just, it's overkill. I would like to be able to define what does and does not get serialized. And I'm sure there is a way to do that. We just need to figure out how to do that. Okay, so this is that. Dynamic JSON processing without a class. Okay, so this is just a JSON object. How to serialize JSON in C#. All right. Weather forecast, public date. And is that just going to serialize everything? All right. No, I'm not particularly thrilled about this. I am not particularly thrilled. Idea: all game variables live in the file. No, God, no. It's a terrible fucking idea. It's a terrible idea. Trust me, it is a terrible idea. I understand the motivation, but I mean, it's a horrible idea. It's just a horrible idea. All right. Let's see. So I really want to weigh, okay, because I don't want to do the serialized stuff. Oh my God. I don't understand what you just said, but okay. Serialized formatted JSON. All right, let me see. Okay, I'm not going to use AI to serial. What was this? You can use AI tools such as GitHub Copilot to generate code that uses text JSON. No. Let's look at Gemini. Let's just load up Gemini really quick and just give Gemini a shot. Let's see what Gemini says. In C#, how can I serialize an object to a JSON structure / object and dictate which member variables to serialize? It's just a memory. Oh God, just stop. Okay, this is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I want. Okay, JSON include. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's good. I need to water my plant. Does that mean you need to go? Is that your way of being like, that's like, like a girl's, like when a girl wants to reject you, like, hey, would you like to go out Saturday night? No, I can't. I'm washing my hair. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to think of the lamest excuse. like I'm trying to think of the lamest excuse I've heard from a girl, like from asking out. The worst excuse the worst excuse I could hear is I asked a girl out once, and she was obviously not interested in me because her response was, I think I have a date that night. I'm like, okay, all right, I can take a hint. So it's going to write output to a JSON file. Yes. What if the game crashes? What are you getting at? What are you like? What if the game does crash? Like is there a solution to saving the game that will fix it? Like I don't understand what you're getting at. What's the game like? Oh my god! Like what do you mean if the game crashes? Like yeah, if the game crashes, then you're fucked. Like that's why crashes are bad. It's like saying like, okay, well, we don't want to put a CD player in the car because what if the car crashes? Like what? Huh? What? What? Huh? It's looking healthy, but also thirsty. I hope you're talking about your plant, and not the lady of the night you've kidnapped and have tied up in your closet. Mm. Okay, so this is very much what I want right here. Global rules. Global rules. If you don't want to use attributes on every single property, you can use JSON serialized options to dictate broad rules. Default ignore conditions, writing indent. Okay. Ignore all public fields global. Okay. I think this is good. This is good. Now, I do think it probably. Why is my mouse? Okay. There we go. Okay, so we do have some. We are okay. So we can just do JSON ignore. So what we're gonna do? Okay, let me see. What are we gonna do here? JSON serializer. See, I'm a little concerned because what we need to do, what's basically going to happen. Let's get some scratch pad, right? We're basically going to do something like this, like for each var in some set. I don't know what the set is, but we're just going to make it up for now. Basically, what we want to do is we want to have some JSON object here. Let me make this bigger so you guys can see it. Okay, so we want to have some JSON object, I'm just going to call it JSON object, okay? And yeah, okay, fine, we'll do it like that. We'll just make it a new, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is pseudocode anyway. So, okay, so then we're going to have like var item, okay? And then, yeah. And so this is exactly right. To some extent, this is exactly right. Really what you want to do is you want to have item. Yeah, because you want the item to be responsible for it. So save JSON object. And so what this is saying is, hey, item, save yourself to this JSON object. And then at the end, what you can then do is just like, I don't know, JSON object, save file JSON, right? So I just don't know why my idea is bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad, and you can see that it's bad because you're actually given a way to ignore. You're actually given a way to exclude JSON things. I mean, you're given a way to exclude items. It's a bad idea because it's just a bad idea. Like saving state like that will typically break unless you are restoring the entire global state. Like if you have like something over here that relies on something over here, you might have like these intermediary values that have to match. And during gameplay, they might match because you start over here and then you go through a segment. You go through like this segment. And I'm trying to think of, oh God, I wish I could think of a good example because it's just a bad idea. It's just a bad idea to dump everything to this because just I'm not explaining it. It's a bad idea. I was shaving my head earlier, but I feel I've missed some spots. Do you shave it with a razor? Or do you? Do you? Because look, I have very similar bald pattern to you. Let's see. Not sure is insisting that for saving game state, we should just dump all the object variables to disk and then restore them on load. This is a bad idea. Is this a bad idea? Is this a bad idea? And if so, please explain why. So that not sure will shut the fuck up about it. There, let's see. I mean, to some extent, that's what we're doing, but like every variable, you also got to keep in mind that the game objects will have hundreds of variables in some cases, thousands of variables, maybe in some cases. So, saving you often don't have to save everything. You don't often have to. I mean, like what you're suggesting is like just iterate through every variable and save it. When objects can have hundreds of variables, so now you're you're creating you could potentially be creating save files that are gigs in size and just yeah. Okay, so just yes, just dump all object variables to disk and restore them later is usually a bad save system design in Unity unless the game is extremely simple and objects are plain data objects you fully control. The problem is that Unity scene is not just variables, it is a living runtime graph made of objects, model behaviors, engines. So the better rule is save game state, not runtime object guts. Right. So a lot of it you don't ugh, ugh. No, that's not what I'm saying. They should live in a file so they don't have to be serialized. Not every single thing. You don't want to blindly dump the animator, the nav mesh agent, and that's a great thing. Like there's lots of shit that you don't have to dump, right? Like an event tree. Like you're not gonna save an event tree to disk. The transform, the rigid body, like you're not gonna save all of that because that's all like so. No, you want to be specific about the things you save. You don't want to just blindly save everything because oftentimes you're saving a ton of shit you don't need to save, and you're potentially creating save files that are gigs in size where they might just be a few hundred K. So there's that too. You got to remember that a game is going to take up several gigs of RAM. And a lot of that is variables. A lot of that is variables that are being used and calculated during runtime. So to just indiscriminately throw it all to disk, you're talking, I mean, if your game requires 32 gigs of RAM, you might be talking 24 gigs just worth of data and then saving that all to disk. That's a huge waste of space when maybe all you need to save is health, position, and state in this example. So that kind of thing. Also, actually, the AI makes another great for the AI makes another great uh, case, which I'm just kind of like skimming over. Another great argument is that with like with what you're proposing, the concept of upgrading or the concept of new version, you've just totally broken. You've totally if you just blindly write shit to disk, you have there's no way to like let's say I have a let's say I have a player object and then I'm just dumping the whole thing to disk and then I want to add a variable or like a new version of the game comes out for a fix. Well, now the old one's not going to load, right? Because I've just blindly dumped everything to disk, and now I'm going to try and load the old one into a new data structure. So that's going to break. So again, with purposeful saving, with purposeful design of how you save, you inherently you inherently have versioning. You can easily put versioning in. So anyway, the prompt seems biased. You seem stupid. How's that? I like the chunk of memory. I know you do, but again, but like that's a you're going the chunk of memory also goodbye goodbye to fixes. right? Goodbye to being able to imagine you spend. Imagine like City Skylines, right? I'm just going to use it because that's the game, like a game I'm very familiar with. Imagine you spend 20 hours building a city, making it beautiful. You spend all this, and then they come out with a patch. Well, now you can't load your old game because the old version's memory footprint is different than the new version's memory footprint. And that's what you're talking about. You're talking about saving memory footprints and loading memory footprints. Well, now you can't. There's a new patch. And in a new patch, there's probably the memory footprint is probably not going to be the same. So now, you fucked everything up. So, yep. Welcome, buddy. Hey, Messiah, Messish. Justin says, I'm questioning, or Gel415 says, I'm questioning whether or not I'll visit the pool today. Wait a minute. Gel415, you sound like my ex-wife. Ugh. Hey, look, I'm not calling you an infinite, terrible lover. No. Hey, I'm going to grab another soda. I'll be right back. Okay. Ugh. I fucking forgot the soda. I grabbed the cookies, but not the soda. It's funny. I don't think she's actually I don't think she's making a TikTok. I think she's actually streaming TikTok live. Should we spy on her? Should we? I'm going to spy off screen for a second. Okay. No, she's not live as far as I can see. That's funny. Okay. So yeah. So the serial, so you can easily break the serialization. At the bottom here, it says, so yes, not sure what's wrong that they mean serializing the whole object graph, which is basically what you're saying. They are only right if they mean serializing explicit, plain, durable state objects designed for saving. That's what I'm saving, or that's what I'm saying. It does sound like a TikTok video. Can you hear her? What supersonic microphone am I using here on this Mac? Holy shit. You can hear her in there? I can barely hear her. All right. Okay. So what we need to do here. See, this is saying the problem here is that this is one object, user profile, and then we're doing JSON serializer, serialize my profile, and then it's very flat. So we need some type of hierarchy, and I'm not sure how to do that with the JSON serializer. Using the let me go back to Gemini. Give me an example of saving a player object and a sword object in the player. No. In an NPC object to the same JSON object in C# using JSON serializer or whatever makes sense. Ooh. When you open the door and close it predominantly. Okay. Well, yeah. She sounds like she's live. I'm going to look again. And then again, I hate TikTok. I'm not even sure how to see if she actually is live. Let me see. There's that. I don't use TikTok, so I don't know. You move, Addie. What are you talking? You move, Addie. That's interesting. What? She has a lot to say. She does have a lot to say. She's a woman. They all have a lot to say. Okay, so this is very much what I want right here. So let me see. No. This is awful. It wants you to have a wrapper glass. Really? No. So one thing that I do think we are going to need in order to do saving, oh God, I gotta put these away. I should not have brought these out. I fucking love shortbread cookies. Anyway, this is terrible. I don't like this at all. I really don't. Because the way it should work, if I go back to my pseudocode, right? I have something like this. And then like here, you could even have something like var sub object equals new, or I don't know. So I think one thing that I really hate the idea of that we're going to have to get around, that we're not going to be able to get around, is having an ID. Your idea is looking terrible. It's looking terrible. I mean, because also, not sure, you don't understand how fragile memory footprints are. Let me go over to Unity, okay? The memory footprint, if I change the order of something in the hierarchy, on the left-hand side in the hierarchy, the memory footprint changes, right? If I want to move an NPC, the memory footprint change. Like there's just so many problems with what you're suggesting. Not to mention, I don't even know how I would begin to implement like that, other than just iterating through. Like the saving portion is actually easy. You just iterate through every object in the hierarchy and then write every variable. And then how is the loading going to work? Like it's and then the loading will break if I want to, like I said earlier, if I need to add a variable, or if I need to add an attribute, or if I need to add an object. It's horrible. It's so horrible. It's such a horrible idea. Okay. So what we want to do, I mean, kind of what I want to do is I want to do like JSON object, create object, item ID. Yeah, something like this, right? And then, yeah, and then save to sub object. Oh, boy. I kind of hate the idea. Huh. So I think iSavables are going to have a unique ID, unfortunately. I think. I'm not 100. Oh, but it's it's an interface. I guess it could have this, right? It could have like void get unique identifier, but that wouldn't exactly be a void, would it? I guess it'd just be a string. I was saying write the critical game state. That's what the fuck I'm trying to do. Oh my god. What the fuck do you think I'm trying to do? What the fuck do you think I'm trying to save? You think I'm trying to oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my what do you think I'm trying to do? Literally, what the fuck do you think I'm trying to do? I'm trying to save the critical game variables to a JSON file. Oh my God. You were talking about just dumping everything. No, I'm trying to save the shit that matters. Oh, oh. Anyway, oh, God. Not sure. Ban not sure. Just ban not sure. Please just ban him. Ban him. No, how is it different? Pray tell, how is it different? How is it different? Pray tell. Let's hear it. I'm ready to believe you. I have mixed feelings about the 4th of July fireworks. I love how Gel 415 is having his own conversation over there. You're trying to save everything to a file at once. No, I'm not. I'm saying do it as they're updated. Are you fucking crazy? You're breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. You know what? You know what? I'm going to let Matthew explain why that is a fucking horrible idea. A fucking horrible idea. Not sure. Some of these objects are updated 30 to 40 times per second. Are you suggesting we flush them to disk 30 to 40 times per second? Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, what game do you know that flushes things to disk? Like that's no, even games that have autosave, what they do is they will take a snapshot of the game and then in the background write it to disk while you continue to play. Now, during that time, before the next snapshot is taken, if you quit the game, well, not if you quit the game, quitting the game is different. If the game crashes, you will not necessarily be restored to the same exact state. You'll be restored to the state of the last snapshot. So this, I like everything, like update the variables as they're updated. These things are literally updated 30, like whatever your FPS is, that's how often they can be updated. I'm not saying every object is updated that often, but many objects are. So, oh my God. Oh. You don't like waiting for a save. Well, do you like waiting 10 seconds between frames? Which would you rather have? Which would you rather take? Would you rather wait 10 seconds between frames or wait 30 seconds for the game to load? I know what the answer is. You don't have to answer. Do they have Uber Eats where you are? I'm craving eggs. No, they don't have Uber Eats, but they do have delivery services. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's driving me nuts. The man is driving me crazy. He's driving me crazy. All right, let me check over here. I'll check my messages. Okay, so We've made no progress. We've made no progress. Um, so something like this is kind of like the dream. It's kind of like what I'm after, but oh, because the problem with JSON serializer is it doesn't really let the object itself take control of what gets serialized, which is what I'm not completely thrilled with. Mm, what other popular alternatives are there? Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how to implement save, load, and Unity. To some extent, I want the objects in the game to be responsible for their own serialization. And I want to be able to iterate over objects and have them iteratively add things to the JSON object, which will eventually get written to disk. Give me some ideas of how to implement this in C#. Stupid memory safety, I know. Dynamic architecture. Okay, so this is talk. Oh, this is actually. You know what? This isn't actually. I was getting ready to say this is as bad as an idea of this is like a bad, not sure idea. But then this actually isn't a terrible idea as long as you can save iSavable objects inside of iSavable objects. If you can do that, that's not terrible. It's not terrible. Let me see. NPC controller, give each NPC its own unique ID. The central save system. I mean, this is kind of what I was after. Although this still does have, let me see, save game. Okay, yeah. So save state, savable objects, object.find. So what is this object here? Newtonsoft.json. I don't know what the fuck Newton Jones. No, I mean, why would I do that? I mean, if you're going to go this pattern, I might as well just use JSON serializer. What the JSON looks like. Find objects by type is slow. For large projects, have your iSable object register themselves. Yes, that's what I was planning to do anyway. Okay. But let me see. So this isn't terrible. Okay. Basically, each object would populate a dictionary, and then the dictionary is what actually I kind of like that, because the nice thing about that is we're not married to JSON. That's one thing I was not that I like at the beginning of the stream. One of the things I was talking about with this approach is like eventually we're gonna, like, I was thinking like, okay, do I need some type of JSON thing here, in which case this is the load and the save are married to JSON. And then I was like, okay, but a common pattern is instead of having a JSON thing, you basically have an iSerializer, right? Like the AI gets it. And then the iSerializer can be a JSON serializer, a YAML serializer for not sure, or it could be, like a gay serializer for GEL 415. It could be all kinds of things. How does this function go through all the functions to find savable objects? So the AI was talking about having having objects register themselves with, and this is something I've mentioned before too, is that you would have to have some type of registration system where, so there's basically two different departments. There's the ones in the hierarchy, which you can just iterate the hierarchy, but then again, so there's a good question. You basically, you either, but then again, actually, I don't think you have access to the hierarchy during runtime. I don't think there's any concept of the hierarchy in runtime. So you have to basically just register. Maybe there is. Maybe there is. I'd have to look into that. But there's two ways to do it. One, you just do find component, right? You just do a find game object component. You don't do a find game object component. You do a find component on the root object. That's how you can do it. So on the root object, you get the root object, and then on the root object, you call find component of type iSaveable, which is this, right? So that's one way to do it. And then pointers would be oh my God, would you shut up? I'm going to ban you. I swear to God, you're driving me fucking crazy. Pointers are a fucking terrible idea. They're horrible. Oh my God, I'm going to ban you. Do you know what a fucking pointer is? Do you know what a fucking pointer is? Oh my God. Oh. Ask Grok Ultra if you should be saving pointers to disk. Go ahead. Please ask Grok Ultra. You Are you saying no? Then tell me, how do you serialize and restore pointers? How do you get that to work? In order for that to work, the objects have to be in the same exact location in memory. The same exact location. Okay, let me explain this. It would allow us to look. We can look at the fuck. What are you talking about? We can look at the variables. Oh my God, you're driving me crazy. You're gonna, like, my blood pressure is here. We don't. Okay, first of all, C# doesn't really have a concept of pointers. Okay, so just get that out of the fucking window. But even in C++, I mean, but. All you need to do is just iterate the members. You can, in C++, yeah, you could do it with pointers, but you're not like serializing pointers. You can't see, I mean, you can serialize pointers, but you're serializing garbage. You would be saving garbage. Oh my God. Pointers allow you to look directly at variables. Okay. All right. Yep. You're right. I'm not even arguing with you anymore. You're 100% right. Yep. You're 100% right. Nope, you got it. You figured it out. Ugh. Okay. So, we want something like this. I don't want to iterate. Then what the fuck do you want to do? What the fuck do you want to do with these magic pointers? Oh, I know what you want to do. You want to have a pointer to the entire object, get the object size, the chunk of memory, just dump that blindly to disk. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you're talking about? Just use a pointer to look directly at the object, and then if the object takes up like 512 bytes, let's say 512K of RAM, just dump that 512K to RAM, and you think that that's going to work. Oh my God. My brother had a wardrobe malfunction at a trampoline park yesterday. I can't remember if Gel 415 is David or Justin. I'm guessing by how early it is, it has to be Justin. But he's kind of talking. No, it is Justin. Okay. I swear to God, not sure he's giving me a fucking heart attack. He's giving me a fucking heart attack. I don't hate this dictionary idea that the AI came up with, though. Right? Like, is there a using clause? Oh, there is a using clause. But how do you, like, alias things in C#? Like, can I do, like, object manifest equals, no, that's not it. Don't mention my name. Oh, I'm sorry, Justin. I mean, Gel415. Yes, my name's Addy. That's not a big secret. Okay. So I can't do that. Well, surely you can. Okay. So I know not sure is I know not sure is over there trying to get Grok to generate some code to try and prove his point. I know that's exactly what's happening. Not sure is over in a different window. He's in Grok. Like, why can't show me some code that uses pointers to dump objects to disk and restore them? So yep, I know that's what's happening right now. Okay. And Grok's going to say this is a bad idea, and not sure is going to be like, well, make it work, and then not, and Grok's going to be like, okay, and then it's basically going. What's going to end up happening is Grok is going to implement something in a roundabout way in order to satisfy the request the way that not sure words it, which in the end is just going to be the same thing that we're doing. C# can use pointers, yes, but they are also an unmanaged code. Unity is managed code. I don't even know if you probably, I would bet you that Steam would probably flag unmanaged code, because you have in C# you have an unmanaged section, right? But what the fuck are you talking about with the pointers? Like what are you suggesting? It makes no sense. This is like when what is that there is a graph of when someone is learning something, and when they learn about like 10% of it, they think they're an expert. Or like, no. What you guys know what I'm talking about, right? There's like this. Let me pull it up. Draw. Oh wait, I can draw on this. So there's this graph, or let me see. Scribble, right? And then like this is time. This is the time spent when you're learning something, and then this is the confidence, right? Confidence. And when you start out learning something, you go up really quickly because you think you're an expert because you know a little bit, and then it comes crashing down, and then it slowly builds over time, right? I think not sure is like right around here. Like he's right around there. So yes, you have to run C# in unsafe mode, which Unity probably is not going to allow. But you want to take a chainsaw to something that requires a pair of tweezers. Like you are like you know what? We might as well just write it in assembly code. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, just take a chunk of memory and just dump it to disk, and then you can just load that chunk of memory. It doesn't work like that. It will not work like that. Let me explain why it won't work like that, okay? So here, maybe you have. So the memory is going to basically, let's see, I'm trying to think how to explain this. Like you have X, right? And maybe the X is 1, 2, 3. You're going to have Y, and that's going to equal 4, 5, 6. You're going to have Z. It's going to be 7, 8, 9. Okay. Let's take this. Let's take this as an example. Now you have to remember that these have memory addresses. So we're going to do this as X0, 1, 2, 3. No, I'm going to make it different. 1, 1, 1. Right. And so 0x 222. These are the memory addresses at which these variables are at. So at these memory addresses, you don't actually have an X. You just have a 1, 2, 3, a 4, 5, 6, and a 7, 8, 9. So what you're suggesting is like, okay, well, let's just write down 0x, because at memory location 111 is the value 1, 2, 3. And at the memory location 0x222 is 4, 5, 6. And at memory address 0x333 is 789. Okay, so that's what you've written to disk. You've written this to disk. Congratulations. You've written a bunch of junk that is unusable, because when you load this up, something else could be using address 0x111. Okay, you're not saying that. Then what are you saying? What are you saying? You still haven't said what you're saying. Then what are you saying? What are you saying? You're not going to be able to just take a chunk of memory and put it to disk. You're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to do that. And if you want to bitch about save times of how saving works now, you're going to exponentially make save times worse by what you're suggesting. Like your solution is just going to make things worse. There is a reason that no games or no programs, the only programs that do what you are suggesting are like VMs. Like that's it. Those dump entire memory segments to disk. But there's no game or application that does it the way you are suggesting for a reason. This feels like a sausage fest. Where are the ladies? Oh, God. Not sure it's driving me nuts today. We've accomplished nothing, and it's not Shore's fault. I'm going to get going in a second, though. I'm going to call it a day. I want to get to the grocery store before it gets dark, and then we're going out to dinner tonight. Oh my God. Yes, this is right here. Right here is where Not Sure is. This is where Not Sure is right there. Not sure. That's his confidence. And I know what's going to happen. I'm going to end the stream, and he's going to go. He's going to be searching through Grok, and he's going to try and get Grok to understand. He's going to try and get Grok to agree with him. And Grok, he's going to fight Grok. He's going to end up fighting Grok, and he's going to come, and what's going to happen is Grok is eventually going to give him something that he's going to understand to a certain extent. But when you read it carefully, it's going to be basically talking about what I am, like what we've been talking about this entire stream. Like it's like, oh, you have to. So I'm still waiting to understand this brilliant explanation. Or I'm still waiting to see it. I don't see it. He hasn't written anything. I'm being hard on Not Sure today, but he's fucking pissing me off. And this is Henna's fault, by the way. So it's her fault. It's Henna's fault. And Justin, there is a lady in the room. Maybe I should use ChatGPT. I hear the one agrees with you, whatever you do. Oh, is Grok disagreeing with you? Is Grok telling you it's a bad idea? Oh, I can't imagine why. Like, I don't know why. Like, why would Grok be telling you it's a bad idea? Oh, man. Type your AI, type the initial prompt that you ask Grok, put it into the chat. I want to see it. We accomplished absolutely nothing today. It's not entirely true. Lady and lady. Okay, so let me pull this up in here. Oh, yes, there's a context of pointer. There's a concept of pointers in C#. I'm wondering how does a pointer allow you to do save any better? How? You've yet to explain how using a pointer will allow you to save anything better. Yeah, there's like I'm pretty sure there's like a keyword like an unmanaged or an unsafe. Yeah, unsafe. You have to surround things with unsafe in order to do this. But you still have not explained why using pointers, how using pointers makes this all so much easier or better. And you said something earlier that kind of like doesn't really make a lot of sense. You said it allows you to inspect the variable. What does dereferencing do? That's exactly what, like, you can think of like anytime you do like player.health, right? You can think of this right here as dereferencing, because that's actually exactly what it is in C++. But you can think of it as dereferencing. So I think pointers will allow you to not iterate through. No, it will fucking not. How? 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 You still have to fucking iterate. There's two options. You're either iterating or you're saving an entire block of memory. Oh my God. No, dude, no. Oh my God. What is being saved? Like, what does the JSON even look like? Type an example of what you think the JSON looks like in your argument. Type an example. Type an example. So you have an object so you have a player that has health and strength. No. Make it even simpler. So I have a player that only has a health variable, and the health is at 76. Okay. Now tell me, through the magic of pointers, what does the JSON look like? By what you are envisioning with this magical pointer solution, tell me what you think the JSON looks like. This is it. Just this. Tell me what you think the magical JSON looks like. I want to know. Cape Fear kind of creeps me out. The show, my Motswana friend, my girlfriend, she's been watching Cape Fear. I haven't paid attention at all. She seems to like it, but I'm just like, I've just been ignoring it. At the same time, this JSON talk is getting me hot and bothered. So not sure. What does the JSON look like? Still waiting. No. I want to know. With pointers, this is a learning moment. Think of this as a learning moment. And I'll explain why once you answer why you're wrong. And I don't mean that condescendingly. I'm pretty sure that your answer is going to be wrong. I'm pretty sure you're going to answer something that is not possible. So I'm curious if this is the object that you are saving right here, a player object that has a health stat of 76, what does the JSON look like? Using pointers, using this solution that you're envisioning, what does the JSON look like? Oh. So, oh my God. So I want to create a dictionary of what of variables to pointers, or of pointers to like what is this dictionary like how I'm still, oh my God, dude, what's happening is you're coming full circle. Like you still have yet this, like, first of all, I still don't understand how your solution prevents iteration. There's still iteration. Like how, like what are you, so now we're iterating a dictionary as opposed to iterating something else. I don't understand how we don't have iteration, but I still don't understand how your solution works. So in this example, what would you have? A dictionary? Okay, dictionary. What's the dictionary? The dictionary is string, and I'm just going to call this pointer, okay? So wait, is it this save data and then save data player? Is that what you're proposing? And then is this what you're proposing? This? and then you serialize the dictionary to disk. So why not? Okay, first of all, this isn't going to work, but even if it magically did work, why wouldn't you just serialize the player? Like, you're not avoiding iteration. There's no way you're saving this game data to disk without iteration. There's just no way. It's not going to happen. Oh God, driving me nuts. Not sure. Please ban yourself. Just ban yourself, please. Just, you got to ban yourself, and then ban Justin while you're at it. I admit defeat. Oh God, I wish Matthew was here because he would have enjoyed this. Oh well. All right, boys. Well, now that Not Sure has admitted defeat, my job here is done. So I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go in. It's a little late, but I think I'll be back around to the same time tomorrow. I think. I hope. I mean, I started at like 2 o'clock. I might start a little earlier tomorrow, but not. Yeah, Justin is saying don't admit defeat. Justin, don't encourage him. Don't. Both of you. Not Sure, ban Justin and then ban yourself, and then for good measure, ban Henna too. Just ban everybody. Just ban you all. All right, fellas, I'm gonna head out of here. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.